what's needed, and as I was learning, I kept finding more and more things that were helpful for me. And so one of the things that I asked the LLC to do is if they would be open to bringing me here to share with our community about all the resources that I find to be useful as a new language learner. And so I recognize a lot of faces that I've already talked to today, and then I see folks that were in the Awoksapay portal session. So I know we've got some teachers in this classroom. So I hope that for those of you that are new language learners, or if you know the language and just want to have easier access to the language, that I'll be able to show you guys some new ways to be able to use this. So this is going to be an overview of digital media resources. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between slides and the actual apps because I want you all to be able to see how you can use them and how you can access them. So like I shared in my last presentation, a lot of times when folks come in to start learning Lakota language, so people think of it in kind of three different ways. I want to learn the language because I want to be able to participate in ceremony. I want to be able to listen to tribal council meetings and know what my elders are saying or what folks are saying. Or I want to be able to introduce myself at a tribal council meeting and talk about something that's important to me. Other folks will come in and say that they want to speak to their elders. They want to be able to speak to all of you all that are fluent or that you're native speakers, and they just don't know how. And a lot of the teachers that we've worked with and a lot of the elders that I've spoken with have made recommendations that as we go along and continue to build and add tools, that we have to keep in mind that a lot of the youth that we are trying to get to and encourage to learn the language, it takes them a little bit to connect two and two and realize that the language can be used today. So it can be used via text, it can be used on Facebook, you can listen to it in your car over your iPhone and take it around with you and even play games while learning the Lakota language. So we often encourage teachers to remind their children and to share with us when they get a chance, when they see that light bulb moment where the kids go, oh, I can use my language anywhere. It doesn't just have to be in these places. So the language is being used in classrooms. Folks are texting, again, Discord, Facebook. A lot of teachers that we're working with are reinforcing that you can be using the language even when you're just going around your house using it as chores as a new learner, which these topics and things come up a lot in Lakota language weekends or in casual conversation, but we don't always think to tell our kids that this is the way that they can be practicing. Go do your chores and practice your Lakota language while you're doing them. The hope with all of this that we have at least is that and the elders that we work with, that people can start creating more modern art, poetry, song lyrics, and we've already seen cool shows like Res Dogs and Rutherford Falls coming in where they're spotlighting and highlighting Native communities, but adding to it and seeing more shows in Lakota would be pretty cool. So we want to encourage that next generation. So I'm going to start by talking about the keyboard. How many of you all have the keyboard right now? A few folks do? Okay. So the keyboard is accessible in a couple of ways. One of the ways is on your mobile phone. So you can go into your app store, whether it's the Google Play Store or the iPhone App Store, and you can download the keyboard. If you're not familiar with how to do this, on our website, you're able to download instructions on how to get that set up on either of those platforms. For your desktop computer, I've already downloaded the keyboard, and I can just switch here on my Mac computer from a US keyboard to a Lakota keyboard, and I can pull that keyboard up if it wants to cooperate with me. Show keyboard viewer. And so I can see the keyboard right here. And then if I'm trying to type out words, I already have some simple ones in here that are my favorite, like pizza. And I can use the keyboard to spell this. can see that the keyboard has our hook N, the diacritic marks over all of the words, or over all of the letters, excuse me. And the keyboard on your mobile phone has the same. So if you all need any help getting these downloaded, please feel free to come up to me, and I'm happy to help you do that or show you where you can get to that. But this is the first place that you can start, is just by downloading the keyboard to begin with. I'm using a Mac computer right now, but this is also available on Android mobile devices or on your PC, so like a Windows computer. The next thing that seems to cause a lot of confusion for folks is, when it comes to the technology, is how do I access the dictionary? So right now we're waiting on the 3rd edition of the new Lakota dictionary to come out. The 2nd edition is available in print, but it's actually out of print right now. So they are not printing any more copies of the 2nd edition. What we have taken the time to do is to invest in the new Lakota dictionary being updated online. So the new Lakota dictionary mobile is in the app stores as well. You can download it and enter in a word once you've downloaded it, and you can not only see but hear the sounds in the dictionary. Because of the time that's gone into access it, or to putting this app together, there is typically a cost of $9.99 for the mobile dictionary to be downloaded. We put it on sale a couple times throughout the year, and we promote it in our newsletter when it goes down to 99 cents for people to access. And the biggest reason that we charge for this, because we always get a question, you know, how are you guys charging for this? There's a lot of app development that goes into keeping these apps updated, keeping them developed, and so we have to pay developers to continue to load the audio, clean up the audio, and the process works that when we're putting together a new dictionary, we just did 2 presentations on the dictionary, but what happens is we'll go out and we'll record elders, not just in saying words and saying, how do you say this, how do you say that, but oftentimes they're telling us stories, and so we're taking excerpts of those words and putting them into the sounds of the dictionary. So there's 3 different ways that you can access the dictionary online. The first way is the NLD desktop app, and I'll show that to you all in a minute. The desktop app is my favorite because I can type in a word really quickly in English, hear the sound of it, practice it while I'm sitting there at my desk, and then use it as I'm going. It also gives me some sentences in there that I'm able to use as well. The next option is the Nld Online. This allows you to look up words, up to 25 words a day online. It's completely free, it's in the cloud, and it's a great way to reference Lakota on the go. You can pull it up on their phone browser, so we have folks that sometimes don't want to use the app because they don't want to pay for it, and so they'll just pull up the URL online. So let me show you the differences between the desktop version, which is this. So the desktop version you purchase from our online store, you download it and install it onto your desktop. From there, when we do updates, the updates are free of charge for you to update. So we are waiting for the 3rd edition words to get loaded into this dictionary so that we can ask people to download a fresh copy of it that have already purchased it. So I'll stick with a simple word here, and I'm going to type it in English to begin with, dog, and it'll give you the English version up at the top and then the word down below. I get emails sometimes from people asking, how do I copy and paste the word? So you can click on the word and hit copy, and then you can paste it over into a document that you're working on, or even if you have a longer word that you're trying to say to someone and you don't want to have to type it and respell it, you can copy and paste it as well. Now when you click on the word, you can hit play. Oh, my computer's, the audio is playing. I'm scared to unplug it, it's gonna get mad. Oh. Sorry, I have my computer hooked up to this audio system.
It should.
Play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just your sound's down.
It's me. User error. I emailed our tech team one time and I said, my dictionary app no longer plays the sounds. What did you guys do to break it? And they came back and said, is your volume turned up? And I said, no.
Shuka.
There we go. So the voice of Ben Blackbear is on here, and he is the male
Shuka.
voice here.
Shuka.
And then Lois Charging Eagle, I believe, is the gal's name that does the female version.
Shuka.
So you can hear both tones, and if there is a female or a male version, the corresponding voice will reflect that in here as well. Something that folks have found to be really helpful is down below, there's a series of sample sentences from recordings that we pulled out that we're able to put together below. So if you have a question while you're trying to understand a specific word, you can come in and see this sentence, see this used in a sample sentence below. A lot of times folks struggle with conjugation, they struggle with when the word should be used or in what context it should be used, and so a lot of times the sample sentences, if you're a more advanced learner, intermediate, or an advanced learner, you can start to see how the words pair together with these sample sentences down below. And then here's what the online dictionary looks like online. Now I have too many tabs open. Sorry, guys. How many of you all use the Lakota dictionary online? We've got a couple up here. Does anybody use the desktop version? You guys do? Okay, perfect. So the online dictionary looks the same. I'm going to use the same word here. Oops. I'm going to use the same word here. And so the major difference between the online dictionary and the desktop version is that there's no sounds on the online dictionary. But this is a great way for you to be able to access the dictionary on the go. Again, you can access this from the website, or if you want me to send this to you via email, I can connect you with it as well so that you just have quick access and you can save it on your browser bar at home. Okay, so the next, we went through the Awosapay tool in the last session that I was in, which I recognize a lot of you guys from that session. So Awosapay is a lesson tool. So there's the grammar books and the text and the series of textbooks as well. The Awosapay app is an app that you can download for free, or you can access it online as well. And this takes you through a series of lessons. There's 126 in its entirety, and these lessons will let you learn either basics or get more in depth as you go through them. If you're using the if you're using the online app on your mobile phone, you have to go through each lesson. They unlock as you go. So you do have to get through some of the simpler ones before you can go on to the more complex one. But for most of us, it's review, where we already know most of this, and so it's pretty easy to go through and clear those lessons out before you get into the more complex ones. So I don't know how you all learn, but for me, it's a lot easier for me to hear and see the sounds. I'm a visual learner, so I want to hear it, I want to see it, and then I'm able to move through the lessons quickly, where picking up a textbook is not something that I'm necessarily going to do every day as an adult learner. The Awosapay does have a teacher's portal, and so the teacher's portal is something that I just did a presentation on. So if you are a classroom teacher and you are hoping to monitor the progress of the students in your classroom, there's a teacher portal that is accessible to you all. We just have to do a little bit of setup to make it available for you in your classroom, and then we provide a little bit of training on that as well. And the students can walk themselves through the normal Awosapay lessons, or you as a teacher can pick and choose the lessons that you want them to go through, and then you can monitor their progress on the back end of a portal that tells you how the students are doing, gives you a breakdown of each lesson. Okay. The audio series is something that's new. So a lot of people are familiar with the Volume 1 audio series, and the first thing that I know I was told when I took my first Lakota language class was, you need to go access your elders. you have to go out and speak to your elders, which sounds awesome. I would love to. For me personally though, my elders have passed, they've walked on. And so my grandmother has passed, my great-grandmother has passed, and we didn't have anyone in my household, and I'm only 41, so I'm not necessarily very old, but my family had passed, and so learning the language from my elders was not necessarily something that I was able to do. I also live in Arizona, so my mom and I were just trying to learn on our own, and we were like, how do we hear elders when we don't live back in South Dakota, or when our family members have passed? And so the audio series is available for you to listen to and hear many of these same lessons that you can hear in the Awosape app as well. Now, I don't know what you guys listen to when you're in your car. For me, I typically turn on Spotify or Apple Music, and I'll listen to the audio as I'm going down the road. Well, all of these lessons from the Volume 1 audio series, the Volume 2 audio series, and all of the CDs, the children's CDs, have been uploaded into any audio program that you use to stream music from. So you can type in Lakota Language Consortium or just Lakota, and it comes up as one of the options that you have there. So this is the audio series Volume 2, this is the newer one, and so I'm just able to stream this.
Another verb for thinking is yukja. This verb is used when the opinion is being formed, or when someone is in the process of thinking about something or making a decision about doing something.
And so this is 12 hours of audio between the 3 audio series that have been uploaded to this tool and others. So if you are an Amazon Music subscriber, you can access these. If you are on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, again, Spotify, any place that you listen to podcasts or audio and stream it, our apps are on there and all of the audio series are on there. We made a decision when we released the Volume 2 that we were going to make it completely online. That way it was the most accessible to folks. So the extension of that is that over in the Amazon stores or wherever you buy your ebooks, you can purchase or download a companion guide, and as you're listening to the audio lessons, you can go through and see each of those audio lessons transcribed for you so you can follow along. We've talked to a lot of folks over the past few days that say they just want to be able to see what they're learning, and I'm going to pass this book around for you guys to see. This is on an iPad, so you folks can pass it around and get an idea of what this looks like. But the ebook allows you to follow along with each numbered lesson, so you just find the corresponding lesson in the book, and you can read along while the person is talking. So right now, where it's not necessarily reasonable for us to be with our elders all the time because it may not be safe, they may not have a computer to be able to do Zoom, this is the way that we're able to hear them speak and hear what they have to say while also following along, even taking it as far as writing it down to practice spelling out the language ourselves. We've talked to some of our elders who spoke our native language, but they never learned to write it. And so I've also heard from elders that they can hear the audio series and then they use the ebook to write down and take notes so they can slowly learn how to write their language. It's increased their literacy and allowed them to help teaching their grandchildren as well. So we're seeing a lot of neat ways that people are using this technology all together. Let's see. This is, if you are an Amazon Prime member, this is available on Amazon Music from the Prime side, which I feel like someone asked me about that earlier today. Just a sec. So the next tool that I'm going to show you, I feel like, is a newer tool. It has one of those QR codes, so if you want to come up later and grab this, or you may be able to, depending on how great your smartphone is, you might be able to open up your phone and scan that little black and white dot QR code. Conjugate conjugation is a cornerstone of learning the Lakota language, but a lot of folks struggle with it. When do I put words in where? When do I add things? And so I was on the phone the other day with Jan Ulrich, and Jan was telling me that, or we were talking to Leslie Duchanel, if you all know him, and Leslie says, Jan, what I really need from you is I need for you to build me a separate book that just has all the conjugations in it. And Jan says, oh, well, we have that. That already exists. Give me just a second. I have too many tabs open now. Here we go. And so this is an existing tool that we'll be adding up on our website. We didn't realize that it wasn't spotlighted until Jan brought this up to us. But you can either type this in or use the keyboard here. But you type your word in and you hit generate. And this grammar chart breaks down all the different ways that you can conjugate the word. Have you guys ever run into an issue where you've not been sure how it's conjugated, or you've been trying to explain it to someone and they just need to see it? This is the way that you can do that. So, for example, here we start with Yawa, and the subject is me or the object, and if I'm speaking about a person, him, her, or it, I am able to see that the way that I would describe that is by saying blah blah. Pretty cool, right? So this is able to save folks a lot of time for being able to double check things. I'm sure it'll even settle a few arguments for folks saying, no, it goes here, no, it goes here. And then the last tool that I wanted to show you is a new one that is not out quite yet, but this is in beta, and they kind of give you permission to be able to show this here today. So this is a new tool that we're working on that we're hoping to release before the end of the year or in conjunction with the version 3 of the dictionary, and that is the Lakota phrase builder. And so you can see a few things here. One of them, the first thing is whether it's a man or a woman that is speaking. And so I'm a woman, I'm gonna leave that as the way it is. Right now we only have about 500 verbs tied in here, so I'm gonna use the verb for see, and let me switch this back up to me, and one of my things fell off right here. Can you guys see that okay, or is it still a little bit? The projector cuts out part of my screen, so. So what I'm able to do is come in and say, I am the subject and the pronoun, so I'm speaking on behalf of myself. And then the object, let's say it's them or her. Oh, you can't see the bottom. There we go. Me, I, woman, endearment statement. So I can see the verb here, and then when I want to make an adjustment to who it is that I'm talking to or what I'm talking about, I can walk through and explain and adjust the phrase based on who it is that I'm talking to. So let's say that I'm talking third person, they, it is the subject, and then I am talking about me as the pronoun. I know that I can, and I'm just making a statement, I'm not asking a question. I can have the phrase right here down and just say, Wama Yange. If I wanted to turn that phrase into a question, and I am a woman, so this is still on the woman tense, it can update the mood generator that tells me who it is that I'm asking the question to. The other option that it has is that if you wanted to turn this into a negative connotation, so say no, you can add the critics here, and that adds the she into it. So you can be confident in the phrase that you're building all together. Let's say that you're talking to a little one, or if you wanted to use a term of endearment, we can add the law in there. Now, if it was a man speaking, it would be how. So this tool allows you to come in and play with the different phrases that you're using all together. We are working on adding additional verbs for this tool so that folks can, I think that Jan didn't give me a number of the verbs that he's working on getting in here, but right now there's only 500. So they're working on doubling that at least before they release this, for people to be able to use this. So this is just a beta tool that we're trying out right now. And that was it. These are all the tools available with the Lakota Language Consortium as a whole. These are all the things that we do here, but our focus is on making digital and printed tools for people to be able to better learn the Lakota language. We are invited in by different tribes and different nations to participate in their education programs and build curriculums or tools for them to teach their students, teach their families, and just share the Lakota language all together with them. And so if there's a project that you are interested in working on with us, we are more than happy to collaborate with you on it. Is there anyone that has any questions? I feel like I've seen all of you guys in my earlier presentations, so. I'm like, good, we've covered it all already, or I've seen you at our booth as well, so. Did you all have any questions about how the tools work, or does anybody need help getting different things installed on their phones? We wanted to make sure we left enough time at the end of this presentation that if you guys had any issues trying to understand how to get a keyboard on your phone or how to get an app downloaded, that we left enough time to do that as well. So if you need any of that help, feel free to come up here, or if you've had any issues in the past with